Welcome to Binge Theory, the coolest corner on the internet. I'm your humble host, Julian, and with me today, we have some old but some new panelists. Let me go around the circle. We have Ramon. We have Logan.
Hello. We
have Kenny.
Hi.
And surprise, surprise, we have a female on the Binge Theory show.
Oh. I hope that's not my only episode.
No, but it is a pleasant, refreshing change. These guys are great, but Clara, welcome to the show. Clara, please say hello to all the people at home.
Hello.
Hey, and Clara's going to bring a little bit of sophistication, a little bit of elegance, a little bit of what they call je ne sais quoi. So we're going to have a great show. Clara,
feistiness.
That's more accurate.
Yes. There's not going to be any disagreements or controversy on the show.
No, never.
Sailing. This is smooth sailing like 1980s Love Boat, no ripples whatsoever. So, Clara, since you are our newest member of the Binge crew, you have the honor of picking the first topic. So, please tell us, Clara, you brought Downton Abbey to the forefront, which again is really fancy because they speak with accents and they wear frilly clothes. So, Clara, please tell us what's going on at Downton Abbey.
Well, aside from it being binge-worthy in general, there is another movie, the second movie for Downton Abbey, coming out in March of 22. And it just sort of leads me to think about this show and other shows that there is still an appetite for. And so they move into this movie world. And it makes me wonder, okay, I know for various reasons they had to end the show, but is that something that they should have continued? Firefly comes to mind as well, right? Like that was canceled. Mm-hmm. And they had to come out with Serenity to kind of bring closure for everybody. But I know there's other examples out there. And I find it interesting when we move from TV world to movie world. And what does that mean? Does that mean that there's still an appetite for it? Should it have continued?
That is a good question. You know what? Now, full disclosure, I'm not a Aberdonian. Is that what they call them? Downton Abbey people?
And then they just call them a TV audience.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
I don't know if they're quite the cult following the way DC and Marvel do.
I don't know. They were in, what was it, Iron Man 3?
Yeah.
They make a reference, yeah. That's right.
That's when Jon Favreau was in when Happy was in the hospital.
Yes.
Right? Recovering.
He was in it. Yes.
He was like, leave it on, he's like, leave it on Downton. Because
we're not talking comic books, right?
I'm just saying.
Yes.
Easter egg in there.
Yes. Well, that will be the last time we talk about comic book movies on this show.
And that's the show, folks.
Yeah.
We'll talk about Firefly. We can talk Firefly then for the same topic. Like, okay, so it moved into the movie world. Clearly, there was an appetite for it. Mm-hmm. We all know all the ways that Fox messed up on that. Why did it not continue in another way?
That's an excellent point. Now, Logan, you're a big Firefly guy. A matter of fact, Logan, can you tell us a little about your experiences with Firefly?
A little bit about my experience with Firefly. Well, I was part of the team that put together one of the few completed fan films in that universe. So we actually we spent a year building sets and building a ship set and special effects and promoting it. We raised $117,000 for charities. Wow. And got all the cast got to see it and have the DVDs in their hands. It's not available anymore due to licensing agreements. But I'm sure it exists somewhere on the black market if you were so interested. And I think that's part of the fun with kind of the movies is that when you're just going from season after season after a series, it seems hard to make, substantial story jumps. I know Downton did it at least once. There was a large time jump between series, or seasons. I'm sorry, but but I think movies make it a little bit easier to do that and to tell different stories and to bring some familiar characters, to introduce you to new ones, and really kind of keep things fresh and the story going. And depending on if and how much there's a time jump from this one, you could have some of the older actors dropping off, some of the, main, other actors becoming now the established veterans and bringing on new people. And you can kind of keep the generationalism of it going.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good point. Now, Clara, I, of course, know Downton Abbey like nobody's business. But for the people out there that aren't, Downton heads, or what is it? I don't know the term.
I don't think we have a term.
Yeah. Tell us just high level view what the story's actually about. Like, what is it? A period piece? What's happening in this abbey?
It is a period piece. We've described this because I've made Kenny watch it with me, which he ended up liking it.
Mm-hmm. I did.
You sound coerced. Usually when we describe this to people, we kind of say it's about nothing. Yep. And it really is kind of about nothing. It's just about people. Yeah, it's about people. It's about how you have sort of the upstairs and the downstairs people, right? You have the main family, and then you have their servants that take care of them, and you're watching all of them travel throughout life together. So what does that look like when a baby is born? What does that look like when, like in the very first season, the Titanic sinks? What does that look like? How does that affect the different characters? And then you see that progression over time. How do their relationships change over time? So it's not about any one particular thing. It's just watching these characters grow and develop over time, which I think is sort of the beauty of it, because you see yourself or people in each of these characters at some point or other.
Yeah. One thing I'll add is that what they do a really good job of is not only working like real world events that occurred during that time frame, but they pick very good progressions in like reform, so as people gained more what's the word, like not status, but just how, as the world became more progressive in general, right? Like in the later seasons when the women's hair was really, the short haircuts were becoming a big fad, they do a really good job of incorporating those kinds of things into the show.
Yep.
And showing you from both sides, like the servants' lives and how they're affected and how they change and grow, and the main family as well.
Yeah.
Right. So could it be that Downton Abbey is a metaphor for America?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
I'm sure England has some caste system going on to a certain extent.
Yeah.
Nice. Well, I did promise Clara that I would, embrace the Abbey and start watching them. We can actually do some watch parties. Now, Clara, I don't know if you're available, but
I believe the homework was that you were going to watch one or two and see how you felt about it. Did that happen?
Listen, everything happens in time. Everything happens in time.
But he did find time to go watch another movie in a theater today. So
I see.
We're going to talk about that. See, I've been doing work. It's not all about you. It's about 70-30 you. But
there was a movie that you could have watched instead. Downton already has one movie. You could have watched that one if you didn't want to watch the TV show.
Well, now, would you recommend watching the movie for those who have not watched the series?
No. No, because you need to understand some of the dynamics.
I wouldn't say you would say no. I wouldn't say no. I would say if you want to see if it's for you and something that you can get into, then sure, why not watch the movie? You did that with Serenity, I'd like to point out.
Yes.
So I would say, but I would say you're going to get a better experience if you start at the beginning of the show and watch the show all the way through and then watch the movie, because the movie picks up right where the show left off.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I don't want to jump ahead and talk. How many seasons is Downton Abbey?
I think there's six.
I thought there were 7.
Oh, wait a minute. 6?
At
So
least
we-
six.
There's an
let's-
appetite for this.
Claire said 1 or 2
Let me
episodes,
explain.
not
So-
seasons.
When Claire and I got into
7.
so when Claire and I got into Downton Abbey, I think it was at the end. Was it season 5 or 6? Because there was only like 1 or 2 seasons. Like we basically, I can't remember how we even started watching it.
I kept hearing about it and people kept talking about it, and I was like, "What
we
is
literally
this show?" So
we did
let
Game
me
of Thrones
preface
the
this.
same way though.
I'm not a girly show watcher, romantic comedies, all that stuff. That's not me, and that's kind of what I thought this was.
Yeah.
So I stayed away from it, even though people kept talking about it. And then it got to the point where so many people were talking about it. I was like, okay, let me give this a try. So I watched the first episode and I was hooked. I think I got 2 or 3 episodes in before I said, okay, you're going to have to watch this with me because I'm going to be watching this a lot. And then you actually liked it from the beginning too.
Yeah. That was back when, but we started watching it back before we had kids.
That's
So
fair.
it was very easy to waste away our weekends binge watching, all kinds of, we did Game of Thrones the same way. Like I started watching season 1 because you weren't interested, so I just started watching it, and I think it was, I don't remember what episode I was on, but she was like, "Hey, is that Boromir?" And I'm like, "Yes," and she's like, "Well, what's going on?" And so I'm like, "You're not going to understand. We got to start at the beginning," and so
and it still took me a while to understand.
yeah, but
yeah.
then we basically binged everything,
But that's
every
another
season that
great
was available at
example,
Game of Thrones.
Actually, if Game of Thrones moved into the movie world, I bet there would be an appetite for that.
Oh, absolutely.
It depends. I think that would depend on if it was the same writers, because a lot of people were extremely disappointed with the last season, and
Us included.
Yep.
So again, you're right, but
watch the movie.
But R.R. Martin, isn't he writing something now? So couldn't they base the movie off of that?
They could, but it would have to be new showrunners and writers, because the 2 people who did it soured things so much. I think they probably lost other contracts because of the way they treated the end of Game of Thrones.
True. Now, Logan, correct me if I'm wrong, but didn't one of those guys, I think that there were a team of them, right?
2 of them, yes, 2 guys.
Yeah, 2 of them. Didn't one of them do one of the Star Wars or?
So they were, I think that was what they were supposed to do. And then after all of that brouhaha came out with Game of Thrones, they were, well, let's just say there were creative differences.
Ah, yes. Scheduling conflicts.
Conflicts, yes, exactly. Although, in all fairness, Julian, there's only 52 episodes, so it's not that bad for 6 seasons.
Okay, gotcha. So, yeah, all right.
Or Downton Abbey.
Yes, or Downton Abbey.
Gotcha.
And what I do find interesting, too, is just looking at the average UK viewership, like, it was pretty stable its entire run. And if there was an American TV show putting up those numbers consistently, it would not have stopped at season 6. So I find it very interesting that it stopped.
That is an interesting perspective.
Yeah, because this is just from, where is this from? Just the viewership ratings. It was 9 or so million for the first season, and then the next 3 were all around 11, and then the last 2 were both the exact same 10.4 million. So it's like, if you got a show still getting 10.4 million people every week, why are you canceling it?
Yeah.
But
creative differences,
scheduling conflicts.
Yeah, I think we had read that all the actors and actresses were on contract only for that amount of time, and then they had already lined up new jobs.
Yep.
There's also that they hadn't, at that time, by the time the last season came around, the writers hadn't decided to go with another season.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So like you said, all the actors and actresses started booking other, productions, and by the time they realized they could keep the show going, it was too late.
Which is a shame, because they're already making a second movie. So.
Yeah.
I mean, how many more movies
I
are we
think
going to
it's,
have?
but I think
Not that I'm complaining.
But what I'm willing to
I'm
bet,
just curious.
what I'm willing to bet is the reason they're doing the movies is the movies they
because
can
they'll
shoot.
make money. That's why.
I think it's that. Yes, you don't get in the movie business to not make money. But what I mean is, I think making a movie is significantly easier than doing another season of a TV show when they can say, okay,
Fair.
based on everybody's schedules, we know we have this amount of time to shoot another movie. And they can go back to doing their other projects.
But I feel like at this point they could say everybody in 2020 in fall of 2022 we want to restart this up and have everyone start clearing their schedules by then. And I feel like it would work.
Not really. Like, have you ever looked in like IMDb at actors? Like,
you already know the answer to this.
Okay, so if you go look, you'll see some actors and actresses have like years of new projects booked out already.
I don't know how you thought I would know that.
Well, I will say this. It could also be, and again, I'm totally guessing, but a lot of times when people have their contract, they're kind of locked in at a certain percentage increase. But once that contract is up, and you tell me about this, Logan, it frees them up to start actually negotiating and asking for the real monies. And if everybody was a popular character, and if they all came out and said, "Yeah, I want 10 times what I was making before."
Well, look, I mean, the first Downton Abbey movie had a budget of about 20 million, and it made almost 200. So
this is why you have to watch it, Julian.
I'm going to. I will do this. I will watch the first 2 episodes.
And crib the Marvel method and just sign them on for 3. With kind of a increase there, and you can probably both lock them into work, which is never a bad thing, and semi-control your longer-term costs.
And it's airing on PBS. I can't imagine that's very expensive.
I don't know.
And just so I'm glad you said that. So the series is on PBS. Is that what I'm hearing?
In America, it is. Yeah. Well, it was.
That's literally like it was broadcast on PBS.
All right, I'll see, because I want to make sure that if I do watch it, it's streaming somewhere. I mean,
it's streaming.
Amazon has it. I think
Netflix just picked it up.
But I mean, originally when it aired live, it was on PBS.
But we were watching it.
This is going to be a perfect opportunity for us to plug our other platform. Viewers of Binge Theory Nation, Bingers, Bingelinos, whatever you want to call yourselves, we have another platform in which we view content live, meaning we are watching it on screen, and you can join with us, and post in the chat and make comments to what you think of the movie, what you think about other topics, how much you love and adore us, anything you want to put in the comments, it's there. It is a Chrome extension called Scener, SCENER. You just got to add it to your Chrome browser. You need an account with the streaming platform. So if we're doing Netflix or Disney Plus or Amazon, you just need to have your own account. But using the Scener extension, you can sync up with us, and we can all watch it together, having a nice watch party. We're doing a lot of these, and we want you to join us. Or if you want let's say, for example, a visual companion while you're watching it on your own, you can watch this recorded version that we have on either Facebook or YouTube, and you can just sync it up on your own and listen to our dulcet tones while you're enjoying your cinematic, endeavors. So just remember that we're on Scener, we're on YouTube, we're on Facebook, we're on Twitch, but I'm a little dodgy with Twitch. I'm not really feeling them that much, but we will be watching it. And Clara, thank you for the recommendation. We will be doing a Downton Abbey watch along, and we'll see if anybody wants to watch other than me. Maybe they will.
Of course they do. They wouldn't be making a second movie if no one wanted to watch it.
We'll let the analytics say who wants to watch it. Okay. We'll
when Downton Abbey
the box office sure says it.
Movies. I want to. Yeah, actually, how does the first Downton Abbey movie compare to some of your comic book movies? That's what I want to know.
It doesn't compare because all my comic book movies are awesome. They're
well, I mean, it's better than Green Lantern.
That's not a superhero. That's a Ryan Reynolds movie.
Better than that.
No, actually, you know what? My wife and I actually rewatched that again, and there was maybe it's just Ryan's off-screen, persona, but there was a little bit more appreciation. I think we gave it that viewing around just because of him being him.
Yeah. No. Again, Ryan Reynolds is Ryan Reynolds in everything
Yes.
he does. He's sarcastic Canadian. I get it. But God, that movie was bad. That movie, I mean, it was. I don't know if it raises to the level of so bad that it was good. I think it was just bad, so it was bad.
It walks the line.
It does. It does.
It walks the line.
Yes, between awful and bad. Thank you, Clara, for Downton Abbey. You will hear more about that, and we'll have wonderful debates on the merit of Clara's, viewing choices. Now, moving on to topic number 2. I am fresh from the movie theaters, and when I say fresh, I mean my shoes are still sticky from the peanut butter. That kind of fresh, I have been in theaters now. I've been double vaxxed, and I, am a big fan of everybody keeping their social distancing, but I had to go to the theaters. Why? I'll tell you why. Because I watched Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings, and it was an experience. I'm not going to spoil anything because I don't think anybody else has seen it on the show, but I will just say this is the hype is warranted. It is a wonderful story that deals with old school wushu martial arts meeting kind of a Shakespearean tragedy with the typical Marvel beats thrown in as well. I think Awkwafina did a great job. The entire cast was, spot on. The martial arts was so much better than I was expecting. I thought it was going to be what I call American martial arts, which is just a whole bunch of shaky cam and sound effects while you can't see what's happening.
So Iron Fist.
Yes, that type of martial arts, but it was not. Matter of fact, they had some of the best camera trickery, but not in a way that made it seem where you lose your orientation. They have it where the camera is in the middle of the fight, zooming around. So obviously it's, probably just high end, effects, but you're in the middle of melee. And I mean, you're like, the camera is swooping between them as they're fighting. And it's not like I've seen anything done in any Marvel's fighting scenes before. It is definitely a new technique. And when we start to get more and more into it, I'll do a detailed review of this, but right now I just want to give it 2 thumbs up because I thought it was super awesome. And, everybody should go check it out. Again, you got to support these filmmakers because, it's hard these days with the streaming and everything. And despite what the president of Disney said, this is not a gamble. It is a sure thing. Go see this movie. Go see this movie. Does anybody have any thoughts on Shang-Chi, The Legend of the Ten Rings, which you have not seen?
It's good to hear. That's
very good.
That's your first take on it. That's good to hear. I'm very excited to see it, but obviously we don't have the opportunity to go to theater right now. So I'll be waiting for it on either Disney Plus or other digital means.
I think it'll be coming. I forget the exact time, but I know it'll be coming out on Disney eventually, obviously. But you will enjoy it. And I'll tell you, there are some tear-jerking scenes. And here's the best way I can describe it. It's like if somebody were to bring Princess Mononoke on live action and not totally botch it.
Now you're speaking in words I understand.
Let me put it this way.
But you're still describing a unicorn, though, because as we talked last time, what is the standard for anime movies turned live action successfly?
Exactly. And again, this is, because it is not an actual Japanese written,
Right.
So technically it's not, but it has that, that feel of a well done adaptation of, a Japanese animation film.
So it's not a Fist of the North Star.
No. And again, Fist of the North Star, wasn't that just Mad Max? That's what it looked like to me. Just, wander in the late wasteland wearing arm pads. shoulder pads. But none of this. I will say this because there is a mystical component to it. Without giving too much away, you do see, speaking of unicorns, mystical beings. I think in the trailer you see a dragon. So there's a lot. And
of course, a dragon.
Yeah, and there's other things as well. And it plays. It plays.
Cool.
They don't dwell on it too much, but it's good. And I'll tell you, the trailers do not do it justice. I don't know who's in charge of their production company, but those trailers were garbage. And they, totally undersold what this film was actually about. So I recommend seeing it.
Is there an after credits scene?
There are two.
Oh.
There are two. There's one immediately following the bold credits, and then after all the as somebody would call it, the lower floor Downton Abbey credits are rolling. After that, there is a final credit scene. So stay until they kick you out of the theater because you don't want to miss. And they are very impactful to the overall MCU story.
All right.
So get to the seats. Get to the seats.
The only other question was, how crowded was it? What was the theater like?
I'd say probably. Now I saw it at 6 p.m. So it wasn't like the prime time viewing, but I would say it was probably at about 30% capacity. Not a lot. But again, 6 p.m. so you can't really tell because I had to make it here to be with you guys and share my thoughts. Because I'm doing reporting here. This is a job. This is not fun. There's no fun.
Yeah. You had no fun at the theater.
No, this is hard work.
I was literally taking notes. I was like, okay. But again, go see it. I think you'll enjoy it. Let's move on because we got a little to do and a lot of time to do it. Oops, reverse that. You know what I'm talking about. So there is, and I know this is a little older news, but I just wanted to talk about it. And I'm sure, Ramon, I know you have an opinion on this. So I want your thoughts on it. The new images for Cowboy Bebop came out, and it was like a week or so ago. And I wanted to know, did anybody else see these images, for the new Cowboy Bebop?
I'm literally Googling it right now.
Oh, okay. Well, if you go to our Facebook page, you'll see the pictures in there as well. And again, I was a big fan of the show. It is sci-fi noir done on a very good level. And I was really just, when I heard about the casting, I just didn't know what to think because who's and forgive me, John Cho. And again, I keep in my mind it's Harold and Kumar.
And American Pie.
Was he in American Pie?
Yep. He was like one of the guys that was obsessed with Stifler's mom.
Well, yeah, where he came up with the wonderful acronym that that ushered a whole new generation of, let's just say, enthusiastic teenagers into manhood. But I'll say this, and then I want to hand it over to Yorubon. John Cho, even though he did a good Sulu, Hikaru Sulu in the Star Trek movie, I do not see him as the laid back, lean, chain smoking, badass that Spike was in the animation. I just don't see John Cho in that role. What are your thoughts?
Well, because he had like a baby face or something.
That, yeah, he does have that
baby face. But I will say he can be surprising.
But Ramon, when you say babyface, what else do you think of John Cho?
No, but I did see him in there. Saw him in there, Harold and Kumar. I did see him in, but I don't see him as the character that you're trying to. And I've never seen Cowboy Bebop. I mean, it's an anime.
How can you?
I am completely. Claire, I'm completely cultured. I mean, I love period pieces. Yeah. My favorite period piece is Pride and Prejudice and Zombies.
There you go.
Oh,
yeah.
And then
But no, but in the anime world, I don't keep up with a lot of the animes, all the anime stuff. I do know that based on your description of the character, I don't think that. I'm sorry, what was his name again?
Well, the character's name is Spike. The
Spike.
actor's name is John Cho.
Yeah, I don't think John Cho is a fit.
I'll give you a better description. Spike would remind me of Ryan Gosling's character in Blade Runner 2049.
Okay.
You know, kind of just like separate, formidable, but disheveled, but just kind of that quiet, cool, if you will. Ryan Gosling, that's kind of his only speed. I mean, no, he's done comedies and stuff. I don't want to say that, but he just does it very well. You saw Drive, right?
Yes, I saw Drive. So I was just going to say that his character's pretty much the same in Drive, where basically he's just like the apathetic, hero.
Yes, a reluctant hero with a particular set of skills, and that's and also the way they're shooting this. And Logan, are you familiar? You've seen Cowboy Bebop, right?
I've seen episodes here and there. I haven't binged the whole thing completely. But I mean, I'm semi-familiar with space westerns.
Well, and that's perfectly stated. It is a space western, and the one thing I do not like, just from the visuals. Now, again, when you draw something, you can draw it to look like anything. The female character, Faye Valentine, was dressed in a completely inappropriate outfit for the entire series. And they upgraded her, for this live action one, of course, because it physically could not work, the outfit she was wearing. We
weren't used to that at all. That's novel.
What's that?
What's that?
We're not used to that. Women aren't used to that. That's so new and novel.
I'll tell you this, after, and again, I not in a disparaging way, but after the Me Too movement, I think a lot of studios are just a lot more aware of what they're doing. And even though they want to get the young kid, the young boy man children in there, they are trying to be look for a more representative, more realistic portrayal of women. So it's not all cleavage and tight pants. It's acting. And
like Gene Roddenberry's version, right?
Yes. We were talking about how Gene Roddenberry had
the whole video, by the way.
Black Widow.
How many days did it take to get fully zipped suit?
That is an excellent point. Black Widow originally, I think her cartoon character had a much lower neckline, and as time went on, it continued to go up, which is, I guess, that's literally progress. Where you see the zipper getting higher and higher up. My point being is that the wardrobe in this live action Cowboy Bebop looks like trash. Because especially Spike, the cartoon character, he was wearing kind of like a blue suit with a yellow shirt and the collar kind of popped up, which looks cool when you're doing anime. It looks horrible when you put it on a live person, and they didn't adapt it at all. It's literally he's wearing an anime suit. That's what's going on, and they're doing a lot of neon lighting, and I'm just getting a whiff of Ghost in the Shell. That's what I'm beginning to get a whiff of. How they basically try to do so literal an interpretation of it that they totally miss the point, and that's what I see coming. Anybody else have any thoughts? Because I've done my little rant.
So I've never seen John Cho in anything comedic.
Oh, you never saw Harold and Kumar?
Nope.
Oh.
I've seen him obviously in Star Trek. I've seen him in Sleepy Hollow. You did that series back in 2013, 2014.
I was thinking of the
series. No, not the Tim Burton one. And I really liked him in Flash Forward, which was from 2009 to 2010.
Looking up, I couldn't remember the name.
Yep. Those were that's what I kind of know him from. Now, I don't know that helps me picture him in that space western roguish character mold anymore. But I mean pictures and trailers can be so hit or miss based on who's doing it. I'm willing to give it a pass at that point, because they almost had to do that, because what kind of, unrealistic fan outcry would there have been if they didn't put him in the iconic costume in the first promo photos? You'd be like, oh, you're changing the whole thing. He would never wear that. He doesn't wear that. I've never seen it. This isn't my, you go right there. So I think they took the safe route and they put him in the iconic costume as best as they could. And I think, lighting and digital touch-ups and other stuff might, help things along the way. But from a pure fan service standpoint, they couldn't not do that.
That's an excellent point. And you're right. It's a lose-lose situation. I will say that the character they got to play, Faye Valentine, to that point, they totally redid her wardrobe.
Mm-hmm.
And because again, if anybody looks at the animation version of her, it's not. They're not even clothes. It's literally boots, like a Brazilian swimsuit, and it's not. It was made like in the late '90s, where apparently there wasn't sexism, so they did it the way they did it, and
the '90s.
Yes, the '90s. The '90s, the age of Limp Bizkit and all things wholesome in the American culture. Yeah, but I'm sure they will have a nice corgi, which is super cool because a corgi was in Cowboy Bebop, and everybody loves dogs. And also they have a guy who, here's the funny thing, his character is named Jet Black, but his ethnicity was always a little ambiguous to me in the animation, because what's funny is Japanese animation tend to draw people of African American or Black descent very black, and they portray him by a Black person in this. I don't know if he's African American or British, or what have you, but a Black man does play Jet Black. No pun intended, I'm sure there. And let's just say we'll wait and we'll see what more information comes out. The trailer, I think, to Logan's point, will say a lot when you actually see it on film, because you're right, stills are stills, and they're probably the photoshopped and color saturation, all that kind of stuff. So anyway, that is coming out. I don't like it at first glance, but I've been wrong before. It was one time, it was back in the 80s, but it could happen again. Let's move on to our third topic. Now, this is another movie that I saw, because I'm doing all the film research apparently out there. So
except for the Downton Abbey film.
Well, that's not in theaters. I'm in the trenches. I'm facing down coronavirus for the love of cinema. That's the sacrifice I'm making for the people. And another film that I saw last week was the production from Jordan Peele of Candyman.
That's right.
Now I was, and again, I've been a big fan. Now, he did not direct this; he just produced it, and I think worked. He was a co-writer on the script. But I saw Candyman, and I'll give you my quick, speedy review. It does pick up current day, and it does reference the original Candyman movie that came out like 20 years ago, and it does actually progress from that story. And so it's not just, it's tied into it, and it does make reference to it and the story of the first series. So, the first version of the film. I think it was done well. I think it was a little heavy-handed at times, but that I think was by design. It depends on your what you want your movies to communicate. I always thought that Jordan Peele had a very unique voice. But this one felt like there was a little Spike Lee sprinkled on it as well, which again is fine. It's just, be prepared for that. There's some literal and very in your face commentaries on social justice and things like that. So, but all in all, I thought it was a good story. What's his name? Yahya Mateen. Oh, and I'm blanking on his first name. I think it's Matuba, Yahya Mateen. Oh, I'm dying out here. Let's see. I'm just gonna pull it up real quick.
We're
So,
gonna let you die.
what's that?
We're just gonna let you drown.
Thank you for that. 'Cause when your point's up, we're going to support you fully. Trust me. Let's see here. Candyman. Come on, Google.
I haven't seen anything on the new one, so I have nothing.
That's unclear as well.
I watched and really liked the original with what's his name, Tony Todd.
Tony
Yeah,
Todd.
yeah.
That was-
Actually, yeah, I saw I watched the original. As a matter of fact, I was so funny. It was so funny. It was right before this. We had our program. I was actually trying to go through IMDb and see Tony Todd's film career. And to my great surprise, he's pretty much been in every single movie that I can think of, anywhere from Star Trek: Next Generation to what do you call this? Yeah, he's all over the place.
Brother,
He was even in that video clip you sent with Gene Roddenberry, and it's going like, oh, there's Tony Todd again.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
There you go. Yeah. That. Yeah, I'm looking at his filmography right now as well.
It's extensive.
And he has been in a lot.
Yeah.
And the
MacGyver, I mean, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
And the actor I'm thinking about, his name is Yahya Abdul Mateen II. So, that does not roll off the tongue easily. But there you go. And again, loved him in Watchmen. Watchmen, the series, you got to watch it. No pun intended. An amazing series, and he did a great Dr. Manhattan in it. So, yeah, let's see. I'm just going to do a quick few of these that he was in. Tony Todd. He was in Reign of Superman. He did the voice of Darkseid. Very interesting.
He's done Darkseid's voice a number of times, and he's fantastic. Really? That was one of the concerns, actually, when they were doing Darkseid or people were saying they were doing Darkseid, is that were they going to get his voice because he was so recognizable in the comics? How could anybody else do Darkseid?
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. Now, I don't want to, veer into comic lore because, Clara might, start hitting Kenny and walk off the set. So,
Glaze over.
Yeah, she'll glaze over and be like, all right.
There you go. Well, yeah, it is an extensive library. Check it out on IMDb. So I will say this: it was enjoyable. It definitely had a perspective. I recommend seeing it. Nobody else has seen it but me. Is that the case?
Yeah.
All right. The 92 version is basically no, or the 90s version.
Gotcha. Well, and I will go ahead and put it out there that Tony Todd does make a cameo in this one. So you get to see him again. There you go. He's coming back. Now, that's the topics that I brought to the table. Ramon has brought some of his own topics. And good sir, will you please regale us with your first one about Spider-Man, the Spider-Man. Now this is not the Marvel Spider-Man. This is a guy who was unfortunately born with a abnormality, and he turned into a spider. It's not comic book. This is real life. So please tell us the story about this tragedy. I think it happened somewhere in Florida, but please, yes, tell us about that.
Yeah, I have no idea what you're talking about. no, I'm talking. I'm talking about. So basically, when I was watching because I'm one of your fans, by the way, Binge Theory. I was watching the episode last week, and I was going like, there's a lot of buzz going on out there that Tobey Maguire, Andrew Garfield, and Tom Holland are all going to be in a Spider-Man movie that's similar to like
Into the Spider-Verse.
Into the Spider-Verse, where basically all three of them are going to be playing Spider-Man. And I was going like, okay, maybe this might be just rumor and stuff. There's a lot of it going around out there. But when I finally saw the Spider-Man trailer, I was going like, oh, they're dealing with multiverses. So my Spidey sense started tingling. So I basically was going like, maybe there's some truth to this. Are they going to be showing? So what do you guys think? Are they going to be showing up in this movie, and they're just not, just keeping it on a down low, or what? Or maybe is it even a what do you call this? A possibility out there that this is going to happen?
Oh,
what are your thoughts on it?
I thought that was already, and again, I could be wrong. Correct me if I'm wrong, please. I thought that was already kind of a given that they were going to have the cameos of Garfield and Maguire.
There's no formal acknowledgement from Marvel or anybody that Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire are actually going to be in it. It's only been rumor that's been fueled by like the actors appearing in, being in the areas of the film being, shot. So, but I personally, I think they're, going to, especially the fact that Doc Ock is going to be in it.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
The Green Goblin,
correct.
From the other, and specifically the ones from the other Spider-Man movies, I don't see them not having, Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield. I can't remember. Did you like any of the other? You like the older Spider-Man movies, right?
Liked is relative. They were okay.
Okay.
Yeah, just to run through real quick, the first Spider-Man obviously had Green Goblin, played by Willem Dafoe. The second one had Doc Ock, and the third one had Sandman and Venom, played by Topher Grace. Maybe they'll bring back Topher Grace. That would be awesome. And
I hope they have what's his name, Lowell from Wings.
Yes.
Yes.
I know you don't expect me to know his name. I don't know actually.
She doesn't know actors and actors' names. She knows their characters.
He has a serial killer name. I'm not saying that he's a serial killer, but he just has one of those. I think it's Hayden Church or something.
Thomas
like that.
Hayden Church.
Yeah. Thomas Hayden Church, just like Lee Harvey Oswald. And then in The Amazing Spider-Man, they had and Andrew Garfield, and the first villain there was the Lizard.
The Lizard, yeah. I mean, you don't even have to probably they just have a lizard show up in the movie. That's good enough. I mean,
people have tried to point out that there's potentially a lizard in the trailer.
I didn't see that. I saw sand and I saw electricity.
You gotta remember, people have dissected this trailer and they're like, oh look, that might be like scales that belong to a lizard, and so people run with it.
Yeah, and I think that is, I mean, again, people said they saw sand and electricity, but when isn't there like dirt and electricity in an action film? That's
I mean,
half the movie.
You already know that they brought back, Jamie Foxx for Electro, so it seems like they've gone all out to bring in these other universes, but the only characters they have not confirmed are the other Spider-Men.
True. Well, I'm sorry. Go ahead. No, real quick, guys. We don't forget that they did set up the teaser for the Sinister Six at the end of Homecoming. Sorry. In the post-credit scene, when the Vulture was in jail, he met a guy with a scorpion tattoo, which obviously means he's going to be the Scorpion. And then he said, "We need to get a team of our own," or some nonsense. So there was the teaser for the Sinister Six. It would make sense if this was it. We'll see. And I'm sorry, Logan, go ahead.
Yeah, no, I was going to say that, I think it was on Twitter actually that one of those, every there's a spoiler embedded person in every studio or everything. And I think that's where some of this was coming from, that one of like the Marvel insider people was like, yeah, Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield are both kind of going to be in there. And you're exactly right. The Sinister Six are going to be the villains led by Willem Dafoe and all that kind of stuff. Nice. And I think it's just with all the multiverse stuff happening and Sony just sees too many dollar signs. If you pull everybody together, like the spectacle that was Into the Spider-Verse and it was animated, I think they're thinking to like tenfold that by just literally throw everybody in. It's like I want a tracker on Nicolas Cage to see if he goes in the same time as reshoots, because I would love to see him do his character live action. Like just pull everybody.
Spider-Man.
Yeah, pull everybody. And
you could bring every
yes.
version of Spider-Man from Into the Spider-Verse into this movie, and I would just go watch it and eat it up.
And I wonder too if Sony would actually bring in a Miles Morales.
Yes.
Just spin off as their own that they don't have to share with Marvel.
If they're smart, they will.
Yes, that's a good way to put it.
They may not be smart, but they are greedy. So I can see that.
Greed is good.
Greed is good. That's a Wall Street reference, by the way. Question. Why wouldn't, actually not a question, statement. I think this would probably be one of the smartest moves for a comic book movie, because unlike Spider-Man 3 with Tobey Maguire, where they just started throwing in, multiple villains and it got overwhelming and just kind of irritating, this would be, if I recall, the first time where they take past villains that have already been established. You already have that nostalgia. You're already vested in them to a certain degree, and then bring them back. That in and of itself, I think, will shake off that whole over villain saturation that some comic book movies have. Because if you see Willem Dafoe, you're going to go crazy. If you see Doc Ock, you're going to go crazy.
We already did.
Yeah, maybe not so crazy for Jamie Foxx, but you're going to go crazy, or Sandman, or the Lizard. But hey, Willem Dafoe and Doc Ock, I'm there.
And I think it's the first time too you've done new versions of the same hero. So if you're going to have 3 Spider-Men in it, you can pull together an Avengers size cast with, quite frankly, similar recognition per character because of their history. And I think Sony's seeing this as their Avengers, and they can just jump right into it. They don't have to, build up the shared universe, which they haven't been able to do. They can actually, I think, of any property right now, have the best chance at pulling off a, straight to Avengers.
Yep.
Excellent point.
I totally agree with Logan's take on that.
I think it's going to be one of the biggest, and I'll let Clara, verify this, but I think it's going to be one of the biggest comic book movies ever, and it'll probably rival one of the Avengers movies. Maybe not Endgame, but possibly Avengers, the first one. I don't know. I think it's going to get a lot of.
I really am interested to see if there are repercussions against DC. That even Sony was able to get $1 billion blockbuster before DC could with everything they.
Well, they tried. At the end of the Justice League, they tried to assemble their own Legion of Doom, and that never panned out anywhere. That never.
Nope.
Nothing happened to that. So
I'll tell you, for the Spider-Man No Way Home, if the trailers finally reveal Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield, I think that will seal the blockbuster, status and it will break the bank. Like I think if they don't reveal them in the trailers, I think a lot of fans that are on the fence. I think some people might be hesitant because they'll be like, I don't want to go and get disappointed because I'm really wanting to see this. And I think if they do, then but only I don't think you show like much.
I don't think you have to reveal them. I think you could do it as simply as,
over the shoulder.
No, you could do it over the shoulder. You could do it from behind, because their costumes are unique enough that the fans will be able to identify them via the costume. So you could have, the current Peter Parker come home, open his closet, and see those other 2 costumes in his closet and go, these aren't mine.
Yeah.
And then, boom, you've got the reveal with no reveal.
Well, actually, I think I go the opposite way. So I remember the first time I saw the trailer of Avengers when So I watched Thor, I watched Iron Man, and then I watched what do you call it, Captain America and all that. And all well and good. But when they started showing everyone they ever seen, even Barton from Thor and Natasha, all of them together, and it's just a small clip, but cameras going around them, and they're doing their stuff. I was going like, I just, you know what? Oh, I couldn't wait to see the movie. That sealed the deal for me. This has never been done, and I was going like, I want to see something that's never been done. And they do the same thing for Spider-Man. I would just
just real quick, I would say that you're 100% right, but the Avengers is the Avengers, so you got to show the Avengers. This is still Spider-Man. If it was called Spider-Man Unlimited or Spider-Man Unite, I could see why you'd want to see them all, but I think they're still teasing whether or not that's going to happen.
3 more months.
Oh, that would be hilarious.
Please.
What would be hilarious?
You imagine the last trailer, they just like erase the A and write an E. It's not Spider-Man, it's Spider-Men.
Yeah.
Boom, mic drop, end of story.
Send your payments to Logan on Snapchat or however the kids send money these days. Brilliant.
Here's the question though: what's going to draw more people out in light of COVID into the theater? If they reveal that, wouldn't it?
I think so. I think if you just if everybody you all saw Into the Spider-Verse, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Think about like if you had just that short clip, like where Miles Morales meets the other Peter Parker, right? And there's finally the realization that there's 2 Spider-Men, and it's like if they did that in the trailer, I think like it would just I
think Clara has a point though, in that they're going to have to tease and release more than they would have in order to lure the people into the theater while all this stuff is still going on. Yeah. And probably more than they would have wanted to originally, but they almost need to go just a hair over the line to make sure that you really want to get there and see it.
And especially in December.
But I do like your suggestion that they could change it right before release, like in the last trailer, and it changes to Spider-Man. I think that would be such an amazing marketing campaign. Like that would just man.
Yeah, that
talk about taking over all.
That's brilliant. That's brilliant. So
it is.
Yes. So we're going to start a trending hashtag Spider-Men, and we'll see what happens if we can break the internet. Based off of Logan's huge brain, we've just started a whole new marketing campaign. That sounds awesome. But again, cameo. We'll let you know when we see more information. Awesome topic. I want to keep moving along, guys.
Word up.
Ramona has another one that he brought to the forefront. Now this we've heard about it a little, but Ramon, give us your thoughts on the potential of this. Go ahead and set us up, good sir.
Yeah, well, basically, so on I think it was the 8th episode of Mandalorian where Ahsoka Tano showed up, and it was played by Rosario Dawson, and I was so thrilled that happened. Not just because they actually did a very successful live version of an animation, but it was Rosario Dawson, and she did the character so well. And I was going like, they gotta do a spin-off of this. And there's rumors that Disney is actually gonna go forth. So just throwing it out there. I mean, what do you guys think of this?
More than rumors, we've even seen the title card. It was announced at Disney's what was it, their investor series? The one that was in February?
Yeah. Oh, okay. Then you just
thought it was too, but I could have been thinking the same thing about the Spider-Man. So
I'm pretty sure it was definitely announced, and I felt exactly the same way. Seeing her live action, I missed the voice a little bit, I gotta say, but I mean, Rosario Dawson's amazing. So
Exactly. Big fan of hers. Have been for, geez, I've liked her, and I'm going to date myself, back when she was in the movie Kids. I liked her.
I forgot about that.
Yeah, she was like a teenager, a New York teenager in a very inappropriate and racy film.
Yes.
Yes. But
Impact, like the film, like if you get past all the crazy teenager stuff, it's like a good view on things.
Mm-hmm.
It was. I'll tell you what. It personified the what was it? Late 80s? Yeah, late 80s. Pretty well. Especially like New York skate culture. With it was. I'll tell you what. It was unsettling to watch, but eye-opening all the same. And I'm going to do a quick showing of the logo. Let's go ahead and just take a quick peekaboo at this. Boom, boom, boom. There you go. So that is apparently the logo that has been put out there.
And I'm very excited to see how many other characters from the animated series as they pull in, depending on where she is and what she's doing. Some of the casting rumors is that they're going to have a live action Ezra Bridger as well from Rebels, and that they will actually introduce Grand Admiral Thrawn, which could also be incredible.
I did hear that. And what's funny is, for some reason, the guy that was in Rogue One popped into my mind as a good Admiral Thrawn. The Australian that he was, he always plays like the solemn. He's also in the Marvel as the one of the Skrulls.
Ben Mendelsohn?
Thank you. Yes, Ben Mendelsohn.
Okay.
I for some reason, when I heard Thrawn, he jumped into my mind, but he's already been used up in all of the Disney properties. So
I've seen some interesting fan castings, but I haven't heard any actual real as to who might play him.
Maybe, and again, I'm putting it out there since Logan's out there throwing, plot devices for marketing. I'm going to go ahead and say Michael Fassbender.
Oh,
yes,
yeah.
Somebody that can do like a military type, poised. If you want to see his acting chops regarding something like that, you can look at him in Inglourious Bastards, where he plays a agent, and you can also find him doing kind of that solemn, repressed but angry character in when he did the Steve Jobs
Yeah, that was a great one. And he would have the ability to go back and forth between a series and a movie headlining as well, which gives him that versatility if they're going more shared universe like they are doing in the Marvel side of the house.
Exactly. And quite frankly, I don't think he's doing anything these days. I'm trying to remember the last great film he was in, other than X-Men, Dark Phoenix. I don't. And again, one of my favorite actors when he was out doing his thing, I don't know what happened. He just started taking. You know what it was? The video game. He tried to do the Assassin's Creed video game.
Right. Yeah.
And that is the curse. That is a career killer.
No, it's not.
No, it's not. Because he did all the.
Proved that wrong.
What? Who?
Doom.
Doom.
That's true. Doom.
And after he did that, and that was a crappy movie, but look at his. He is. I think he is now the highest paid actor in Hollywood.
Mm-hmm.
The Rock, I will say. Okay, I would say he's the exception, not the rule, because The Rock is a force of nature, and he was well established before he got into cinema. And I think he is probably one of the only beings that could shake off. Because again, look, he also did Scorpion King, which was trash. So, yeah,
you got to cut your teeth somewhere.
Yeah. But he actually was in a film with I think it was the sequel to Get Shorty with John Travolta. I think
Be Cool.
I'm sorry, what was that?
Be Cool was the sequel.
Be Cool. Thank you. Exactly. And yeah, he had like hair and John Travolta was, he's like, you gotta have a certain look. You gotta look like this.
Oh, I remember that scene. Yeah.
So what's funny is the first movie that I saw with The Rock that I really liked also actually starred Rosario Dawson, and that was The Rundown.
Yeah,
it was with him and Stifler. Yeah. Forget the actor's Sean William Scott. That's his name.
Yes, and Christopher Walken.
And that was like the first movie where I saw it and I was like, maybe he could, have a future in acting. Because I really love that movie. And then he did Walking Tall, and that was a great movie.
What?
Great. Well, for me anyway. Huh?
Great.
For me, it was. Do you remember? I'm easily entertained. Okay.
All right.
You want to go back further? He was in a February 2000 episode of Star Trek Voyager.
Yeah. Well, I saw a picture of him. He had the butt head, right? Where they put
he did have some prosthetics on his forehead. Yes.
Now, is it?
How come I did not? I've seen every single episode. How come I did not know this? What episode was
season
this?
6, episode 15?
Oh,
I'm gonna look
that out.
What is that? Next Generation?
No, Voyager.
Voyager. Yeah.
Yes. Now, is it true that most people that have ethnicity have a butt head in Star Trek movies?
No.
Is that so? Worf didn't have one.
Well, Worf did, but Tim Russ didn't.
What about Idris Elba? Did he have one?
Idris Elba was a grossly underutilized and misused character, and I'll still say no because he had full prosthetics.
Oh, okay. So he had a butt face, not a butt head. Okay. I get it. I'm making a joke, of course.
Although Tim Russ never did. He was a Vulcan. You've got a lot of Vulcans who have they have a very varied ethnicity. They've always been displayed as having a very varied ethnic background.
Yes, and let's not forget Shorty. He didn't have a butt on his head. He had an air filter on his head. So it's as long as you put something on their head. And Whoopi,
I think it was actually a hair piece or a hair clip or
oh,
some of those.
It was a hair clip.
I think it was actually some sort of they modified it, obviously, the props department, but I think it was one of those clips that you would kind of put into your hair and it would close down or something. I don't know.
What? I think you're right, and I'm gonna show a picture of The Rock with his butt head.
Oh my gosh!
And he started doing the eyebrow earlier on in his career. This is him. And,
but I mean, just look at him there and compare him to him now.
yes.
I mean, there's no. It's just amazing how far his training has come in 20 years that he almost looks. There's no question he looks in better shape and almost younger now than he did 20 years ago.
Yeah.
It's incredible.
Well, I mean, what's funny is I remember there was a line that he had, and again, one of my favorite comedy action films, Central Intelligence, with him and Kevin Hart.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
And one of the best lines is Kevin Hart said, "Hey, look at you, man. Hey, look at you, man. You're all in shape. Look at you. How'd you get in shape like that?" That's my Kevin Hart impression, in case you wouldn't know. And he said, "Oh man, it was easy, Jet. I just worked out 6 hours a day for 30 years." 6 hours a day, every day for 30 years.
And that's pretty much what he does.
Yeah. But yeah, no, you're right, Logan. He looks. First of all, he's more defined, and obviously he's mastered his body so that he can slim down for certain roles and get ridiculously large for other roles.
He just wrapped Black Adam, and man.
And I am excited to see what he can do on that.
I'm excited to see that too.
He was ripped for that role.
Well, if you're going to put on a leotard, you better be, super pumped.
What was he talking about? Something I thought I was hearing at some of their production capabilities they were doing where they were shooting 900 frames a second to get individual muscles rippling through him as he's doing some of the scenes. I am just the technology on that film. I am excited to see if it, actually can. I don't know what it actually becomes.
I actually think probably the biggest reason that movie is being made.
Oh yeah.
One of the only reasons that movie's being made.
I don't
talking about.
He's wanted to do that for years.
Rosario. We went from talking about Rosario Dawson in Star Wars to now talking about The Rock.
Their name will start with letter R.
You know what? I love Dwayne Johnson's work in Downton Abbey. I'm seriously. I mean,
Yes.
just to make sure Claire is still in.
You smell what the butler's cooking.
Oh, I see what he did.
No, the butler does not cook.
He did.
I haven't seen it. Yeah.
He did the thing. He did it. All right. Well, yes. So we've established that Ahsoka Tano is slotted to come out with their own series, and quite frankly, I think Disney's going to make everybody have their own series. I got a call the other day, so I might have my own series coming up. I just got to firm up on the deal.
Well, just a quick factoid, though. Do you know the reason why they chose Rosario Dawson?
No.
Apparently, there was an artist that did a sort of like a poster sketch of Ahsoka Tano as Rosario Dawson as Ahsoka Tano, and the rumor was that because of this, there's like it just exploded all over the internet, and Disney started following Rosario. And eventually led up to this deal being made of her portraying the character. So it actually started from a poster.
Fan art. Yeah.
Disney's done that a couple times. They recently hired. So when the Luke Skywalker reveal happened at the end of season 2 of Mandalorian, there was just a YouTube visual effects guy I don't know if he did it for a living somewhere else or it was just a hobby, but he did use some of the deep fake technology to make a better copy of it. And apparently Disney hired him for VFX for season 3.
Yeah. He has a YouTube channel. He did a lot of face swap technology. And I've been saying this ever since they botched it with The Irishman, because because what would happen is they'd have these really bad face like CG facial youth soft
Princess Leia and Rogue One
and Tarkin. Some of the stuff that they did was a little rough.
Yeah, and they did and again, I think it's because they threw money at it as opposed to talent. And you could, with the shoestring budget and talent, you can do anything. But with limited talent and a lot of money, you're only gonna just
get so far.
Yeah, and you're right to that point. I remember when they did Grand Moff Tarkin, and they redid him, and he looked 10 times better. He didn't look like a video game character. And the same with Princess Leia, and that is such a shame because I would have rather had that version, essentially since she had passed away, and it would have done her more justice to use her real face as opposed to like what's that movie Logan, the Uncanny Valley.
Yeah.
They
had to do that in Rogue One because of the de-aging aspect, because of the time period they were doing it. The problem with episode 9 was that the scenes they were reusing of her were in an entirely different location with entirely different lighting, entirely different eye lines, entirely everything. So it was actually her, to my understanding, for the most part, but that it was not. They had to kind of back into the dialogues because they only had what she said, and they had to rearrange scenes and try and VFX lightings in order to place her in appropriately. That's why that performance in there, it was actually her. Nothing was CG created, but it lacked an emotional comprehension of the scene because, rightfully so, she wasn't talking in that scene.
No, yeah, and just to be clear, in episode 9, I know that was basically they just edited her scenes, and so it looked horrible, kind of like Tig Notaro in that Army of the Dead. Oh,
right.
Yeah, well, because she was edited in to replace somebody else. I was talking about in Rogue One at the end, the post credits or at the end where they have a young Leia. This is pre-episode 4.
Right.
But it was CG, and it just looked so flat. And then somebody came back and did like a face swap with her, how she looked in episode 4.
So much better.
So much better.
Yeah.
And then the last one I saw, which again made me throw up a little bit in my mouth, was Robert De Niro in The Irishman. and how it literally looked like they just put a Photoshop filter over the whole scene. And also he had blue contacts. I don't know why they tried to pull that off, but there's nothing as sad as seeing a poorly de-aged man in his 70s try to do something physical.
The only one they got right was Captain Marvel with
Samuel
Clark Gregg and Samuel L. Jackson. They de-aged them better.
Yeah, well, let's just say, black de-ages. I'll just say that. I'm just going to I mean, come on. I mean, but I will say this is, yes, Samuel Jackson, and I will say this to any movie executive out there, if you're taking an old man and you make him look young, do not have him try to do young physical things because it looks horrible.
Mm-hmm.
When in The Irishman, like I said, a 70-some-year-old or maybe 80 now, Robert De Niro was literally supposed to curb stomp somebody. And again, he's 70-some years old, and it looks like he's about to break a hip. He can't do that anymore. So don't ask him to get a stuntman. I mean, if it's space swap, just get a stuntman. Who cares? Mm-hmm. And the same with Samuel Jackson when he was fighting the Skrull, and he could barely get up off his knees. It was sad. I mean, they made him look like he was 30 years younger, but he was moving like he was 30 years older. I'm sorry, that's the way it is. Samuel Jackson. I mean, for crying out loud, they can't even give him a real beard because his beard is white. So you saw when they started putting on the fake beard, the fake goatee, because he couldn't grow out a goatee anymore. It was, just unsettling. Get some Just for Men, for crying out loud. All right. That being said, Ahsoka Tano, The Rock, Rosario Dawson, all awesome. Thumbs up. Good stuff. Now, moving on to our fifth topic. And actually, this Logan brought up, but coincidentally, I just saw the latest trailer in the movie. Yeah, that's why I wanted to talk about this, because when I saw Shang-Chi, they played a trailer for
the Red Band trailer.
Yes, okay. It was. It absolutely was. And Logan, please set it up, and I will chime in with my contribution, good sir.
So this trailer in particular, it came out, I guess, last week sometime. It's the Red Band trailer for the, I suppose, technically third Kingsman movie, but canonically it's inside the universe. It's a prequel that goes all the way back to the beginning of when basically the origins of the very first kind of iteration of the Kingsman agency is they were trying to stop some of the turn of the century pre-World War I era, I believe.
Yeah.
Villains.
It was definitely a period piece that went back that far. So yeah, it was. Yeah. It was World War I.
Yep. So obviously Taron Egerton was not remotely born yet, so he will not be in this one. But of course, there's a new kid to appease that. But Ralph Fiennes will be in it, as well as I want to say Matthew Vaughn is still directing. So, the kind of action comedy feel where, you've got the crazy violence and then odd little humorous bits still be there in a plenty. And should be interesting to see what kind of cameos that may show up in there, because there were plenty with the first couple ones. So, in addition to Gemma Arterton and who else? Daniel Bruhl, I think, is in it, and a bunch of other
Rice.
Yeah,
the guy who played the Lizard in the Amazing Spider-Man.
There you go.
Taylor Johnson, Stanley Tucci.
Mm-hmm.
Where's Prada?
Yeah.
Yeah, and Jaman Hansui.
Yep.
I guessed at that name.
Yeah.
He was in it quite a bit, actually. In the trailer,
awesome.
In the trailer, he was doing a lot of action scenes. A lot of their patented slow motion action scenes.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, so that's coming out. I like the first two. The first one better than the second one.
See, back around.
Matthew Good is going to be in this movie, who also happens to be in Downton Abbey.
Oh, full circle.
Mm-hmm.
There you go.
He's the one that wants.
No, don't spoil it.
And,
Anyone from
What's
from,
interesting is this movie probably would take place somewhat around that time because that would have been what 1917, 1918.
That'd be cool if that was in the same universe. That could be
and,
interesting.
anyone from
The Kingsman
anyone
is
from,
in the Downton Abbey. Now that's a crossover I could get behind.
That'd be awesome.
anyone from Pride, Prejudice, and Zombies? No.
No, but Charles Dance is in it from Game of Thrones.
Ah.
So
Yes, Charles Dance, for those that don't know, was
Tywin Lannister.
Yes, Tywin Lannister.
What he was in something else too.
Oh yeah, well, if you want to go back old school, he was in if you want to go back an old school, he was in the Last Action Hero with Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Whoa! Oh, that's right. He was.
Yes, yes.
Wow.
He had a fake eye, and he would swap out the eye almost like a fashion accessory with cool little logos, which I'm sure all the kids are going to be doing now because it's hip and cool and dope and fresh. Yeah.
more important.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Favorite movie: Pride, Prejudice, and Zombies.
I'm sorry.
Charles Dance was in Pride and Prejudice and Zombies.
I could see that. I could see that. And just for those that want to see something really unsettling but also equally parts impressive, is Charles Dance is apparently quite the Lothario, and I'm going to show you an image, and I think you'll find it, again, like I said, equally parts unsettling and inspiring. Now, I don't know how. Oh, this gentleman is 77 years old, and and here is a wonderful picture of him with his lady friend. And he looks, quite fit. I will say that.
I'd be satisfied if that was me at 77.
Yes, I'd be happy if that was me 10 years ago.
Yep.
Yes. He's been doing the old man workout, whatever that is, and yeah, he's there you go. So follow your dreams, kid.
When you got it, right?
Yep.
Follow your dreams. That is get in some Hollywood movies and don't let yourself go completely to pot, and you can have pretty much anything you want in this world. So good stuff. Now,
If you're a man.
well, of course. Come on. Let's not get.
Here.
I know we've been talking about comic book movies, but let's keep things grounded here. Yes, of course, if you're a man.
Yes.
Okay, so Kingsman trailer looks really good.
Really good.
Excited to see that. And yeah, just so you know, the Kingsman trailer is playing in the Shang-Chi movie. So go enjoy that.
And Tony Todd's going to be in Kingsman. No, he's not. I'm just kidding.
Who's that? I'm sorry.
Tony Todd.
Tony.
Todd.
Todd.
Oh yes.
Candyman.
Yes. I'm sorry. That's the call. That's what they call a callback, kids. Yes. Yes. Tony Todd. Now, wrap things up. Logan, you had one other item that we definitely want to touch base, before time gets away from us.
Yes.
And it always does. Please regale us, good sir.
And already has. So for any of you out there who are as big Star Trek fans as I am, next Wednesday is Star Trek Day. Star Trek Day being the anniversary of the debut of the first aired Star Trek episode in the U.S., which was the Man Trap back on September 8th of 1966. And this particular Star Trek Day, they have a whole series of panels that'll be streamed on the internet, hosted by everybody's favorite geek, Will Wheaton, at least nowadays.
I like him. He's a good kid.
He's a wonderful individual. I've met him several times. He is just endearing and funny and a little too self-deprecating from just the history that he's gone through, but it comes from a good place. And he is he's just a really, really good guy. As well as Micah Burton, who I'm pretty sure is LeVar Burton's daughter.
Oh.
She does some of her own, I think, podcasting and other online kind of media stuff like that.
Is she available for Jeopardy?
Oh, don't get me started.
Not going to wade into that one. I'm not going to take the bait.
He did a good job, Jeopardy. Although
Good job. And they passed him over.
He did a great job at Jeopardy, and
Good.
it would be a great James Bond, but that's just not happening. And there you go. So, back to Star Trek, good sir.
But yeah, so Star Trek Day be hosted by them. They're going to have a live orchestra playing some of the theme songs and Star Trek music in between a number of both interviews and panels, kind of convention style, about some of the new series and returning series coming up. So there'll be information about Star Trek Prodigy, which actually just released its, I believe, the title, the main title for it, and it is gorgeous and beautiful. The animation is just so slick, and the instrumental is Star Trek. I mean, it's just no question, hands down, it's Star Trek. They're going to have also some information about Strange New Worlds, which I am probably most excited about. So that one is a new series coming out, I think it's next year, that will actually star Anson Mount and Ethan Peck as Christopher Pike and Spock, respectively, on the trials and travels of the original Enterprise before Kirk came on board.
Oh.
So the second captain of the Enterprise, as Robert April was the first. It was kind of following a more episodic type style. So they're not necessarily going as much of the whole kind of serialized through the season as some of the other shows. They're trying to keep that one, so they've said, more episodic. So you can kind of just pop in and out and really embody the classic Star Trek a little bit more. Star Trek Lower Decks, which is actually going on now. The first 3 episodes, or at least, are already out for this season. And Picard as well, which will be out in... Picard will be out in... What did they say? I think it said early 2022, so January, February. And then, of course, Discovery, which just wrapped the filming of season 4, and that should be coming out later this fall. And then they have some interviews with some that they call legacy moments of individuals from Deep Space Nine or Enterprise or the original series or Next Gen. And it looks like it's going to be maybe 2 or 3 hours. Wednesday, September 5th, starting at, it looks like 8:30 Eastern time. So it looks like it's online. Check it out. And you can be sure we will be reporting back about Star Trek Day.
Absolutely. And in solidarity with that, I want to start doing some watch parties with whatever Star Trek shows are streaming. So I do see Lower Decks is on Amazon. We can stream that. I believe, is Picard also on something streaming?
So all of them are on Paramount Plus.
Yeah,
some of them have had resyndication or kind of been sold around to like you said, Amazon or some other places, so you can check and see.
Picard's on Amazon, yeah.
You know, Paramount Plus really timed it well in that they've basically got one Star Trek show a quarter coming out for the foreseeable future. So that service is not going anywhere for my household.
Roger that. What would you say if we started doing watch-alongs of the original 1966 Star Trek?
So that's the only Star Trek series I haven't seen completely through.
What?
I've seen lots of the episodes here and there, but I've actually intentionally sat and watched through and binged all the other series except the original series. So that would be cool.
Well,
same here.
It is on Netflix.
Mm-hmm.
So that is very streamable.
For now.
So time is a wasting. Here's what we can do. We can start setting up some scheduling for these, as well as Downton Abbey, and we'll cross our our sci-fi with our Tories and our elitists. So we can enjoy both things, and be cultured and entertained. Not necessarily in the same show, but you know what I'm talking about. We can enjoy ourselves. So awesome stuff. One and all, we've touched on it. Every single thing, streaming, movies, upcoming news. You get it all here on the Binge Theory because we like to entertain you and we like to keep our palate kind of broad. So especially thanks, Clara, for coming in and giving us, some fresh breath, because, otherwise it's just stale breath. Downton Abbey. I will do the first 2 episodes. That is a promise. And I will do it before our next episode. So I will post on our social.
We'll do that.
I will post on social when I've completed the first 2 ones. So everybody out there in the internet land knows that Julian is now cultured and sophisticated. And then we can talk about, my thoughts on it in our next episode. This has been awesome.
Don't suppose there's Downton Abbey and zombies out there?
Not yet. Maybe that's an idea we have to post.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, it is called Day of the Downton Abbey Dead.
Okay. I'm willing to watch. I'm willing to binge watch that one.
You know what? I think we need to also start doing like theme marathons of different things. So we can do Downton Abbey, we can do zombies, we can do independent films, we can do Rocky Balboa marathons, all of it.
Yes, especially with the new director's cut of Rocky 4 coming out soon.
Rocky
Ooh.
4.
Oh, what do you call it?
Stallone literally went. He's his pandemic project, if you will, was he went back to all the original reels, pulled them all out of the archives, and has basically recut Rocky 4.
Now, wait a second. Hold up. Because I will say this. Rocky 4, although unrealistic, is probably of its time. And actually, this is actually true. Rocky 4 is to date the highest grossing sports film of all time. And I'm going to put that into context. You need to understand this is just after the Cold War had ended. This is Sylvester Stallone at the peak of his popularity, and he's representing America, and he's fighting Russia, and that was like a volatile mix. And they had
Drago.
Yeah, Ivan Drago.
Exactly. And again, a guy that did not look like a human being.
No.
It was literally like he said, let's get somebody who is like a cartoon character and throw him in the ring with Sylvester Stallone, who's probably 5'10" on a good day. And again, it's not realistic, but it was so, I'll just say this. It's one of the most American things I've ever seen in America. A guy wearing American shorts beating up somebody who's younger, better skilled, and was
hyped with steroids.
Yes, and with a lot of really bad rock music, but it's classic. But I'm sorry, Logan. So they're recutting it. I mean,
so Stallone himself is recutting it. So if you saw Rocky Balboa, which was technically Rocky 6, or Creed 2, which you could argue was Rocky 8, the way they used the filming crews and the style with which they shot the fights were next generation. They were not like a movie, and to rightfully so, because they literally took, from what I understand, film crews and directors of actual live fights and said, film this movie like it's a real fight.
Yes,
and the Rocky Balboa fight in particular, and Rocky Balboa, but Rocky 6 was absolutely, utterly just, it was a half an hour of a pay-per-view show tacked at the end of a movie. It was spectacular. And I think that's part of what they're kind of, or what Stallone is recutting into, to try to get that feel and to do, if he can, in some ways, a little bit more justice to, the film and the fight and the brutality that was in there, that quite frankly they may not have been able to get away with back then. So I would expect it to be a little bit roughier, and I would expect it to be maybe a little bloodier, and cuts and takes and ways that he would post videos of just the detail with which he was looking at every move and every punch and the angles. And I'm excited to see it, because as he's progressed throughout his career, quite frankly, both his writing and his directing and the ability to select a shot have just grown with his expertise, and to be able to go back and revisit that and to see what he can do with it, take my money.
Yep.
And don't get, here's the thing: a lot of people don't really know that Sylvester Stallone is a student of film. I mean,
Yes.
they need to understand he wrote and directed. Well, did he direct Rocky? I know he wrote it. But
I don't think they let him, or maybe he
Yeah.
did. I don't remember. They didn't let him
No.
do stuff on the future ones, I know, but yeah.
Yeah, but he did write Rocky,
Yes.
and they did not want him to be Rocky, but he would not sell the rights to the script unless he could play Rocky because he
Mhm.
felt so endeared. And just quick history on it: Rocky was based off of a real fight that took place. It was a fighter who fought Muhammad Ali, and did not win, of course, but he put up a good fight, and that was the inspiration. Was, hey, this guy really gave it his all.
Mhm.
He left it all in the ring, and that was the inspiration for Rocky. Sylvester Stallone has, he's obviously synonymous with Rocky and Rambo. Though that's his thing. But if you look at the first Rocky,
Mhm.
first Rambo, those were well-crafted characters. that he-
Character-driven pieces.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sorry, he didn't come up with Rambo. That was actually based off of a book.
Yeah.
But he brought those characters to life on film.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, and Stop or My Mom Will Shoot. That was classic.
Well, not as good as Rhinestone Cowboy.
Okay.
Yes. Rhinestone Cowboy was with him and Dolly Parton, where he plays a country western singer. And you should really check it out. Just bring your earplugs because, oh my God, he can't sing. And
See, Over the Top is my other favorite early Stallone.
What about Demolition Man?
Oh, Demolition Man.
You know what? When he's fighting, Blade Runner. I mean, no, Blade. So it's Blade versus the Ravager.
Yeah.
In the
Or-
future,
You can't
with Sandra Bullock. It was
or-
amazing.
and the 3 shells.
Oh,
Yeah.
the 3 shell. How do you not know how to use the 3 shells? Come on.
What's funny, and you know who was the cop that laughed at him for not knowing how to use the 3 shells? Benjamin Pratt.
Nice.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yes, which is, in one of my favorite films of all time. If we're just going to start doing these degrees of separation, he was in Blood In, Blood Out, which is probably one of my favorite, East LA, quote unquote gang movies. A fantastic film. It's, up there with, American Me and, any other really well thought out gang story back. They came out in the late 80s, I'd say. Anyway, yes, Rocky IV. I will say this, Logan. I'm excited and also kind of hesitant because you know how when people tend to revisit things, George Lucas, they butcher it because they're not looking at it from the same perspective. They don't have that same energy.
Well, I mean, I think it's clear Rocky didn't punch first.
Exactly. Yes.
Bravo.
Yeah.
Yeah, or maybe in this Rocky he'll be doing Senate negotiations. You never know. But
well, I mean, Rocky's gonna play a diplomat instead of a fighter this time,
Yes,
and he's just
yes.
gonna just smooth it over with words,
and after the fight,
eloquent speech.
and
And when
the
words
fight-
fail, he takes Jesus.
That's the tagline. When words fail, Rocky IV.
there you go.
You can write these all night. Just send the checks. It's okay.
But what's funny is I'm curious how they can make, and honestly, Rocky IV, let's be frank, Apollo was killed in Rocky IV. So I
If
don't
he
know.
dies, he dies, right?
Yeah, I don't know how you can make that more violent. A guy literally getting his neck snapped in the ring. And
I mean, I don't think they're not recutting anything, so it's all footage that was there, as far as I'm aware. They're not filming anything new.
Yeah.
So it should be interesting. But yes, as much as he is Rocky, and Rocky is certainly a passion of his. I think if he can ever, one of the other things that I think he's probably, at least said that he's as passionate or more passionate about himself is actually Edgar Allan Poe. He has an incredible almost obsession level with I believe Edgar Allan Poe, and he's spent time, I know, in Philadelphia at Poe's house and looking through his works and doing things, and there's a Poe whether it's a story or a biography or something that he's been trying to go through. He's posted videos and Instagrams of his notes and, you know, what he's trying to do and just thoughts and stuff. And I think if he can ever get that project out, that would be, you know, certainly worth watching as well.
Now, he's not going to play Edgar Allan Poe, is he?
I have no idea.
There was a rapping at my window. My chamber door.
Adrian!
Exactly. You know, quote the Raven, nevermore. There, that's.
See, now I want an audiobook of him reading like Poe.
Oh,
Audible would sell.
Oh,
you know,
it would so sell.
I would listen to an audiobook of him reading everything. You know, Christmas Carol. You know,
I think the fact that Go the Blank to Sleep.
So
where when they had Samuel L. Jackson record it, and it's like a 5-minute book.
Oh, it used to work on our son.
Oh, it's 7, and I own it, and it's amazing.
Yeah,
Awesome.
it's like literally 7 minutes long, and it just changed. Like when they went back and had Samuel L. Jackson record it.
I mean, it was funny the book was funny already, but the audiobook was great.
Yeah.
Oh.
And
it's amazing.
I would love to know like the number difference, like from the time like it just sold as a straight book, and when Samuel L. Jackson did the audiobook, and you know,
it's on YouTube.
So if that can happen, we can get Sylvester Stallone doing an audiobook, and we should be great.
Yeah.
And again, just so everybody's on the same page, he is in the Suicide Squad playing King Shark.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Yes. Which we just saw that actually, and
oh, wait a second, you saw the Suicide Squad?
Yeah.
Did we talk about you seeing it or not?
I don't think we had at the time. I don't know.
Well, again, guys, I hope you can hang with me because I need to pick Logan's huge brain about the Suicide Squad, which is not a comic book movie. It's about, you know, this, you know, group of, you know, veterans that, you know, were in Vietnam, and it was a rough mission. They all got out, but they based this movie on that. So, Logan,
every 22 minutes, one of the characters died. Until the end, it was just a blank screen. It was quite poetic.
Yes, it was.
Really drawing attention to the plight that our veterans face.
It was respectful. It was respectful in every way, and I'm glad we could bring it to
very well done.
Yes, very tasteful, very appropriate. It's good to give this current climate. I'm gonna try. Yeah, I'll see you all in purgatory. Yes, Logan. Yes. So, boom, boom, boom. And I'm sorry, the embargo's over for, you know, reviews. We can't wait for everybody to see it go. What was your favorite character in the Suicide Squad?
Favorite character in the Suicide Squad?
Harley Quinn. I mean,
did you see it? Oh, Ramon, did you see it?
No, but I know she's there. I mean, I saw the first one, and and pretty much, you know, I haven't seen Birds of Prey yet, but you know, she you know, it's her. I think she's the only one who can really act among all the other people. I mean, no, Will Smith was pretty good, but I mean, she pretty much killed it as Harley Quinn. So I would say Harley Quinn's my favorite.
The first one. This is the.
She certainly owns the character.
Yes.
I think that's the best way to put that, without question. You know, my default, my kind of character is more of Idris Elba's character. You know, yes, he's done what he's done, but when it comes down to it, he's not a bad person, not by any stretch, and he tries to do, you know, the best he can in the situations that he's given, and there was not a single character like that in Game of Thrones, and that's why I never watched Game of Thrones. I couldn't deal with that. But yeah, Idris Elba's character, I think there was great. I think there were I like the misdirect that started it. I think it wasted some characters. I still need to see Nathan Fillion as a real superhero at some point in some universe somewhere, not just a throwaway, 5 minutes. No pun intended.
That for the longest time he voiced Green Lantern.
I know. I saw the trailer where they cut him into Ryan Reynolds instead of Ryan Reynolds, and that was fantastic. I would love to have seen him as Green Lantern. I would love to have seen him as Nova. I don't think he will be coming up in phase 4 or 5, but I would like to have seen him as Nova.
How old is he now? Ish.
He's getting
Yes.
a little older.
Yeah. Well, because I thought again, wasn't he in the short-lived TV series The Rookie?
Yeah,
It's still going.
Oh, it is.
Also
Still
a
good?
Firefly.
Yes, Firefly.
Yep, Firefly, and then he spent 8 seasons as Castle. And I think Rookie's in its 3rd or 4th season.
And he's playing an over the hill.
That's the character, is that, basically just under the cutoff for, what is it, the LA police or something like that. And he goes in as a rookie at the oldest you could possibly go in kind of a thing. And I think that's based off a real story too, actually.
Well, I know Marky
or the theory of a story or something.
Well,
Somebody who tried to do that.
Well, I know Marky Mark joined the Eagles in that one movie, where he joined the Eagles. And
and I mean, Kevin Costner's had a lot of different baseball careers, but let's.
Yeah. But I will say
anyway.
So the Suicide Squad. My favorite character was Ratcatcher 2, as the Gen X, total optimist who had an endearing story about her father, who's played by Taika Waititi.
Mm-hmm.
And at the very end, where she's flashing back to him, and I'm sorry, guys, this is a little spoiler, but she's flashing back to him, and he's saying, she's asking him, why rats, Papa? And he's like, because if there's hope for these lowliest of all creatures, there's hope for us all. And it just gets you right in the feels. And also, I really loved Sylvester Stallone as King Shark. I mean, I think they kind of missed the pacing with his intelligence. Because it started off where he was almost like bizarro stupid, and then later on he's just like slower. I don't think they really nailed his character yet, but I did have a lot. They
tried to do like fin slap comedy with it, and it didn't quite work.
It didn't, because if he's of a lesser intelligence, that never goes well.
No. And if you want to compare and contrast that to the King Shark that they put on The Flash, the TV series,
yes,
I would almost argue that CG was better, first of all, and there was a lot more of an uncontrollable animalistic nature, but intelligence too. It was an interesting kind of dichotomy. It reminded me of the Jason Statham shark, one of the shark
Meg.
movies he did.
Meg.
No, it was before the Meg.
Oh, before
the one before that.
Sharknado.
Which one?
Sharknado.
Not Sharknado. No. Deep.
The
one where it's the one where they intellectually enhance the sharks, and they have to. Maybe even LL Cool J's in it. Even I don't even know.
Wait a second. No, Jason Statham is in that one?
I could be mistaken.
No, Meg. He's in Meg.
He's in Meg. Then who's in the one with it's LL Cool J and somebody else?
I think it's the guy that played the Punisher in the first.
Thomas Jane?
Thomas Jane?
I think
technically the first one was Dolph Lundgren. So where are we going here?
Oh, here we go. The purist. Yes.
Yeah.
The second one who
that was Thomas Jane then. Okay.
I think it was. And the only reason I'm saying that is because I remember it also had Samuel Jackson, if we're going
for a while.
Where yes, he was giving a wonderfully inspired speech.
Yeah.
But he was, cut off.
But the Flash TV show managed to give the sharks intelligence like that, but also still a better CG almost than I saw there. So while I certainly appreciated that it was Stallone, and you could tell that it was Stallone, I wish they would have given him a little bit more to do. They should have upped the intelligence level of him to give him more interaction there.
And speaking of the intelligence, in the Harley Quinn series, they make him an IT shark. He's like an IT guy. And he's voiced by Ron Funches. He's a African-American comedian who is, really popular in nerd and comedy circles.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like I think they intentionally, Logan, went away from the ripped, dangerous version from Flash to essentially like a lovable killer shark.
Yeah.
And he was about the cutest great white shark head you could have. wearing like Baja shorts and saying, "I wear disguise." Really? What kind of disguise are you gonna wear? Fake mustache.
And I think if they would have played up that interaction more with him and maybe Ratcatcher too, so that he would have almost been her stuffed animal, and he would have always just, okay, let's go, kind of thing. I think if they hammed that up more, it would have sold a lot better.
I with the 100%. I do. There were some parts that got me a little misty, and again, I'm all man. I'm a man, but I got a little teary.
You have to be man enough to cry. I mean, that's just how it is.
They were man,
it makes me question it.
They were man tears. And there's a scene where there's two scenes. One where because they're trying to be incognito going through town, and he's kind of hunched down in the back of the van, and he's looking out the windows, and he's seeing like a nice couple in an alleyway, just canoodling and like kissing on each other, and he's just looking at it. And again, this is a shark. He doesn't really have any features in regards to, but you just see his big, like his black eyes, and you just feel like this heartache, like he just wants to be, connect to somebody and to be loved. And I'm just like, what am I watching? Show me some gun violence. I don't want to feel stuff. And then remember when he also was
just tearing up there.
Well, when they went into the club. And everybody went into the club, and he's sitting in the truck just kind of listening to music all by himself. And I'm just like, son of a, this is like, again.
Sorry, Julian, hold on.
Exactly. It was, I've never felt so sad about a shark.
It was a better love story than Twilight.
First of all,
it doesn't take much to be a better love story than Twilight.
I take great pride in the fact that I've never seen Twilight. Unless I get paid to, I don't think I will. But anything can happen.
I'll send you $1.
Yeah, I need, per minute. That'll work. I'll do that. And again, maybe if Robert Pattinson's The Batman blows up, we can do a retrospective and see him on all his other films. But
or if Kristen Stewart's Princess Diana blows up.
Yeah.
Fat chance of that.
And I don't like the way you threw in that pun, Logan. That's horrible.
Yeah, at least you didn't say like if it
crashes and burns.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Still too soon.
Still way too soon. And I don't know. Casting an American as not just a British character, but a royal.
Yeah.
Give me a break. Like I don't get it. I don't understand it.
What I think of is that they casted her because since she's so emotionless in her performance, she will somehow portray the reserve and stoicness that Princess Diana had. That's the only thing I can figure.
But she's gonna have to speak.
Yeah.
They can do a voiceover.
Yeah.
Didn't she have an accent in Snow White? Or maybe I'm thinking.
Oh
maybe
yeah, the Huntsman. She was in that.
Didn't she have an accent? Did she have? I think she had.
Yeah, it was.
I don't recall. That was I haven't seen that in a while.
Yeah, I could probably see Emma Stone portraying that a little better. I'd like to see Emma Stone doing that.
Not anyone can portray that a little bit better, I think.
I think you're right. Or and again, but again, I don't want to give the British, any quarter because they've been stealing all our good old fashioned American jobs for a long time now. I mean, geez, half
when they're better at it, what do you want them to do?
First of all, they are better.
Downton Abbey.
Damn it, that's true.
Doctor Strange, Spider-Man,
Logan,
Star Wars.
Logan.
Yeah.
Damn it, that's true. Damn it, that's true.
Yep.
That's a line from Suicide Squad. In a great scene where John Cena and Idris Elba are showing off their killing skills. Like, look, I'm going to kill this guy. And John Cena, watches Idris Elba kill somebody really smoothly. And then he just takes his gun and shoots over his shoulder and hits somebody. And Idris Elba's like, non-lethal. That doesn't count. And
You didn't hear spoiler alert.
And you guys aren't going to see it.
Spoiler alert, people die.
Yeah, exactly. Yes, people do die in the Suicide Squad. Just so we all know, it's all out there. So
both on and off the squad.
Yes, and this is in the trailer. So he says compression, exploding bullets, and then the guy literally just eviscerates, and Idris Elba's like, nobody likes to show off, and John Cena says, unless what they're showing off is dope ass, boop, and then Idris Elba just looks at him, turns around. That's true.
That's right.
And again, James Gunn can write comedy. It's a skill set. You can't hire out for that. You can put him. And again, one of the characters he got, he intentionally was flexing his creative muscle because he said, who's the least popular member of the Suicide Squad in the comic books? And it was Polka Dot Man. And again, when you look at him,
he was incredible.
Amazing.
His range, his story, the emotional arc, like that came out of nowhere.
And the whole mother complex was brilliant, especially in the club scene when he's dancing. That was again emotional.
Yes.
And again, you guys have to see it. You probably won't. I think this is probably one of the best DC movies, shy of Christopher Nolan. This is I put it up there with any other DC film.
Is Tony Todd going to be there?
He could be. He could be. There are a lot of dead bodies.
Which actually, the Polka Dot Man was in The Dark Knight.
Absolutely, he was. He was the guard during when Commissioner Gordon faked he getting shot.
Yep, so one of Joker's thugs there. Yeah.
Yep. But anyway, so we have talked about all good things in entertainment, and again, thanks for Clara, bringing us the Downton Abbey, which I would never watch without trying to, live up to her standards of high quality entertainment. So I will do that. Clara, please come back and bring more high end recommendations for us so we can start, making this show watchable for people other than.
Only if you guys watch it.
Well, I'm going to watch it. I'm definitely going to watch it. And first 2 episodes, and everybody watches on social, and you will see me post. I watched episode 1, and I will give like a quick, like star review or some metric. I still haven't locked in on one yet, but and then episode 2, so you can.
And then you can watch Hamilton after that too.
Yes.
Not right away. I don't want to do too much. I want to spread my art out. Like fertilizer. If you put it all in one place, it turns to burn. So yeah, you just kind of a little bit here and there. I don't want to go into culture shock.
Too much culture is a bad thing.
Exactly.
Yep. Well, I'm going to spread my wings too. I think next movie I have in mind is Abraham Lincoln Vampire Slayer.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay.
That's history.
A classic period piece.
That is history. That's the founding father. That's exactly how you. Or is Lincoln a founding father? I forget because he was after. No, he's not.
No, he's not.
He's just old.
He is a badass vampire slayer, though.
That's right. He can wield an axe.
Oh yeah.
But oddly enough, he wasn't the one that chopped down the cherry tree. No, that was the other guy. The guy in the
first guy.
Yeah, the first one. Yeah.
There was a prequel.
Yeah. It was George Washington, Vampire Hunter.
Ooh, you got to see that.
Or no,
no, it's George Washington versus Dracula.
Yes. But anyway, where did Clara go?
we are approaching the 2-hour mark.
I tried to tell you.
We're just about to sign off. So
yeah,
Claire, if you're within earshot, again, thank you so much for joining us. It's been awesome, Kenny. Thank you for bringing her along. She made you more palatable, and you got to bring her back because she
definitely adds to the looks. So
there you go. If for any reason you guys get separated, we get her.
Yeah, you get her in the divorce.
We get her in the divorce. But no. Again, you guys are awesome together. Please, you guys got to come back.
Oh yeah,
Ramon, thanks again for joining us, Chief. Schedules are rough, so it's always a pleasure when you jump in and give us your thoughts on film. And again, other than the history, science fiction, horror, we got to start talking about some indies and some foreign films. So
Yes.
bring those.
Yeah. As a matter of fact, I think there's one, and I'll put this out there for another episode. But there's the very first Filipino anime that was made. It's called Tres, and I haven't seen it yet, but it is the first time an anime was made about about Filipino culture. And it's about Filipino vampires as well as and other good monsters and stuff like that. So I want to see it, and then I'll let you guys know.
And what's it called again?
It's called Tres. It's in Netflix.
Netflix. Okay.
All right, nice. Oh, you know what? I think I did see that. I had the trailer for it. I mean, awesome.
Yes.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'll add that to the list, and I'll put a link in the description below. And Logan, thanks again for joining us, good sir. As always, definitely, looking forward to talking about some of these other topics as they start to unfold in regards to, the Kingsmen and, and I'll share my I was going to swear, my Downton Abbey experience with the audience and maybe we can all grow together as a team and become better versions of ourselves.
Maybe.
But anyway, guys, it's been a pleasure. Everybody out there, thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. That helps us keep the lights on. And don't forget, we are on all the social platforms, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and Scener. Don't forget, SCENER. It's an extension you put on your Chrome browser so we can do the watch parties live. Stick with us. Don't forget to send us any recommendations on things you want us to cover, because we're always interested in new content. We always want to bring you the most current, relevant things. Don't forget to take care of each other, take care of yourselves, and as always, if it is worthwhile, it is worth binging. And I will sign off now.